So we have Master Xiao Li, one of our therapists, and I'm going to do a demonstration of shoulder therapy. So a few things we have to look out for is we have to assess our patient's condition, and we have to determine the range of motion of the shoulder before we were to proceed with the shoulder therapy. So when we do a therapy on the shoulder, we have to assess both sides, the range of motion. So firstly, we need to raise his arm up and through the side. In certain conditions, when the patient has sprained his shoulder or her shoulder, the range of motion would be limited. Okay? And when it comes to the adjustment, it's very important as a therapist, we have to protect ourselves. So technique is very important. When it comes to adjustment of the shoulder, we have to place the middle of our chest right behind the patient's shoulder. So from the forward view, it will be like this, and from the side, it will be like this. Okay. Upon placing my chest behind the patient's shoulder, I will hold his wrist. Okay. Right arm over the patient's other shoulder. Okay. I'll place it over his elbow. My left hand over the elbow as well. And if you notice, when I'm doing this, I make sure that he is well rested on my chest, and at the same time, so if you notice what I'm doing, I'm locking him into a position so that he will move around a lot. Notice from the front, it's like this, at this angle. From the side, it will be like this. So after locking him into a position, ensure that there's very little free play between the shoulder and the chest. And then with the motion, like this. So in a later slow-mo video, you'll get to see how the adjustment is done. Notice the movement is very short and very little. The purpose of doing this is align his shoulder joint. So another technique is the hand over like this. Same. This. Notice the movement is very little. But ensure that the free play, or there's no gap or very little gap in between the shoulder and the chest before the adjustment is done. If you didn't do this, assuming he is in a rested position, and you straight away do the adjustment like this, it will hurt both the patient and the therapist as well. Because if I do this, I'm going to pound his shoulder into my chest and it will injure myself. And as for the patient, the jerking motion, it will hurt the patient as well. So after doing the manipulation for the shoulder, we will recheck for the range of motion. Okay. One from the forward and one from the side. Okay. So the whole point of doing the manipulation is to break away the scar tissue, because the scar tissue can cause the stiffness, can cause the limited range of motion. So the purpose of doing this type of manipulation for the shoulder is to break away the scar tissue. When a patient has scar tissue within the shoulder, it creates limited range of motion. It creates shoulder stiffness. And how all this scar tissue happens? It could be lifestyle, it could be injury from sports, it could be the way they slept. So this manipulation is very useful in breaking away the scar tissue. So this is one of the many ways that we do manipulation, and what we touch about is just one technique about shoulder manipulation. We have a lot of manipulation techniques, a lot of techniques that can do wonders for shoulder pain, for neck pain. So we have many manipulation techniques that work wonders for joint pains. So stay tuned, we have many more episodes to come. See you again next time.